We are back with the Anointments number 3, and we shall see how this one goes. Now, we've already had a bit of a discussion, and here you see the icon I'm using for Wolfram, or Wolfgang, or whatever we call him these days.
These days.
So yes, this is what your little brother or older brother was, Wolfgang.
Yes. I don't think I actually ever wrote it down, did I?
I think at the very least, if he is older, it's by a year or something. Like it's not a
Yeah.
major.
Yeah, I believe he would be the older one.
Yeah. So here he is, about a year older than you, and in his what little uniform they have at the moment.
Mm.
So did you want to do this the night after, like immediately after going to see Switch? We're just describing seeing Switch as it went well. Whatever the result, it went well.
I mean, I think I would be doing this after the party, most likely.
After the party. Okie doke.
Yeah,
So,
because that's where everybody's just like, oh my god, they're gods,
mm,
kind of thing went down.
fair enough. So, would that be before the tea party then?
Yes, most likely.
Okie doke. Cool. Um, yeah, I believe this is actually. Is it just before you started messing with the watch house? Um,
Uh, yeah, I think it might have been like half a day before or something. Like,
yeah, yeah, I think it was a half a day before, so it's still the old watch house at the moment, which means it's a little
yeah.
bit cramped. And even though she is washing, there's still a lingering hint of sage smell around the place because you don't wash dead corpse smell out of anything very easily.
That's true.
And Wolfgang is doing his least favorite thing, that being sitting in the back of the back room with as much paperwork as he could like, convince himself to do in this day, because someone
Mm.
has to do the paperwork.
Yes. But yeah, I will most likely approach him,
Mm.
just like knocking on the door. And be sure not to disturb him too much.
He'll just gonna come in.
Open the door and walk in and close it afterwards.
Oh, hey Quinton, what you doing?
Hey Wolfgang. So I've been thinking about some things after the party we went to. And it appears that we're going to, or at least me and the two others, are going to take on a whole lot more work that's not really related to the gods. So I was thinking of officially anointing you like captain of the guard.
He
Uh,
yeah, he kind of pauses and puts down his little quill and like, I mean, that if you think so, I'm not exactly trained detective and all that. I'm just one of the guys, you know.
but I mean, just your stole the paperwork. I mean, you are effectively head of the guards. Like you do all the things behind the scene, more or less.
I mean, the ones that you don't do.
Yeah,
He like rubs his chin a little, like, uh, I mean, if you think so, I mean, no one's really going to question you, are they? So what do I get a badge or something?
I mean, as of right now, we haven't really thought it out that much. But I mean, we will need something to insinuate that you are captain. If you can come up with anything, I mean, if you have any ideas yourself, that
He
would be great. Because I
mm,
mean, yeah, we could give you a badge if you wanted.
he kind of rubs his chin a little bit, and you see he's smeared ink a bit over his cheek, from the his fingers touching the parchment he was writing on, and he's like, he sits there and well, well, all right, okay, so no one's going to really say I'm the captain of the guard or whatever if I'm not wearing something that's close to yours. You know, you because let's face it, I can be the captain, but you're still going to be in charge of all the guards that are around here, ain't you?
I mean, I won't really be ordering them around as much as I'll probably be dealing with, I want to say, bigger things than street fights and whatnots.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're going to have a lot of things on your plate. I mean, the last couple of days have proven that, hasn't it? But
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. If I give an order and then you give a different order, yours is going to win out, isn't it?
Or we could set it up so that yours is the like I don't want to say supreme order, but you mean that yours are the alpha omega order.
If you want to, I mean, you've not really steered us wrong yet, have you? I don't mind if you want to, keep the lead on this, but if you want to leave the city in my hands,
Yeah, I mean, it might end up with me and the others having to travel out of the city at some point, and I mean, I want to leave it in capable hands.
well, you know, compliment. Bro, I gotta admit, this is really weird. That like, but I mean, let's see, something that I'd like it to still be, yours kind of thing, or from you,
Mm.
a symbol or something, something that shows that I'm with you because I am with you. One way or another, I'm with you. So
Hmm. I have a question here out of character.
yes.
If I were to make like a special kind of bird, like a falcon for him,
Mm.
what would that cost me?
Um,
It's basically just make him a soul-bound pet, more or less.
you could, instead of making one, you could summon a bird, like which would I believe just be effort, um, because it would be like a miracle, which is entirely within uh, your spoke to do.
Yeah, but I would assume I would need to allocate Dominion in order to like make it his per se, because
Um,
my orders for birds only last a scene.
I here's the thing. So I've given all of the chosen, shall we say, I've given
Yes.
them all a little blessing, nothing major, but a little
Mm.
blessing. So if this is your anointing him, which basically this is a signaling that at level six in the apotheosis word, you
Yes.
get disciples or a high
You
priest.
get to make a champion.
Yeah. So if this is your signaling for him, then I will allow you to spend effort to
Mm.
effectively like bind the bird to him.
Great,
So
because I was thinking of if I can modify the birds slightly, but
mm,
not just aesthetically.
yeah, no, I'd say that as part of the ritual, you can do this.
Yeah.
So
Whereas then I was thinking of giving him like a falcon of sorts and make
mm,
it kind of like my knight shape ish. So have
mm,
it like be a bit of shadowy with like a blue hue to it.
yeah, so it's a night falcon basically.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you can easily do that. There are windows in this room as well. If you wanted to, like, did you want to summon it or did you want to call it to you?
I'm thinking up just to make it even more fun, just like have it pop out of like my shadow.
Mm. Yeah.
To
So
have it insinuate being like a part of me.
there's a little flapping of feathers sound and rustling, and the your shadow splits off into this little into this night falcon, and falcons are actually pretty darn big as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's kind of hops free, and there's a twinkle in its eyes if you know it's a bit more intelligent than most birds.
Yeah. It lands on my arm and just
Mm.
like, well, if you need a symbol that represents me and what I stand for, then I think this would be a pretty good gift, and it might as well help you with your guard duties as well when you go out into the streets.
He pauses and then nods slowly and reaches out a very careful hand towards the falcon, as if worried it's about to bite him.
It does like the typical cat thing where it just like puts its head to his hand and starts rubbing on it.
Mm. he kind of nods and smiles like, well, if it's a beautiful bird.
I mean, if it is yours, you might as well name it. Makes it easier to, come into contact with it and give it orders as well.
Oh God. uh, when he says "Oh God," you hear a little echo as if it's a prayer that's in your head. And he as if the words themselves like echo into your head from the prayer, and he nods slightly and reaches out and goes to take the bird from you so he can place it on his desk and study them further.
I mean, it like gently like wraps its claws around his arm.
And you notice that it's holding onto your brother. And most people, when they're holding like a animal like that, as if an eagle or anything with sharp claws was resting on their arm, you'd probably be wincing because that would be digging in.
Yeah.
But you notice that your brother doesn't seem to be affected at all. Like it's just resting on his arm, not gripping on. Oh, jeez. Well, is it a boy or a girl? Like he says, he doesn't exactly seem to want to check.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't really have a like. It's what's the name for if it's genderless?
Agendered.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is another word, but yeah, I get what you mean. So, oh, right. Yeah, I suppose it. I'm a bit new to all this. I got to admit.
Yeah, understandable.
Well, let's see. And he like itches his chin a little bit, and and I feel like it should be important, but it's it should be about darkness. There's a lot of darkness here, so and he looks down at his fingers again, and then looks up. How about ink?
Ink. Anything like? Oh, you wanna? Oh, for the name.
Yeah.
Right.
For the name.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that works.
I mean, it could be ink quill, but yeah, I like just ink.
Could also name it Quill.
Yeah, ink quill, and then I'll either call it ink or quill, and it'll one or the other. Like, he kind of laughs a little because he's looking at the ink stains in his fingers. Like, ink quill, I like it. I do. And you see that he's reaching out and strokes the falcon's head slowly with a finger. The one that's still marked with ink, and as he does, you see that it seems to be like the ink that's left in a streak over it seems to be forming in a pattern. And what is your symbol again? Like the symbol of your church?
It's the Boros symbol. So basically, like a fist surrounded by a sun, I believe.
Yeah, the fist surrounded by a sun.
Yeah.
So it seems that as he's kind of stroking the bird's head, without even realizing it, the ink on his fingers is forming a pattern of the Boros symbol on its forehead.
Nice. And also another thing that I was planning to talk to you about was I was considering opening an academy for training the new guardsmen.
Oh?
I mean, might as well have some trained guardsmen rather than volunteers.
He nods. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Get some proper training in. Like we barely received any before the attack.
Yeah. That's exactly my point. And I
Um,
mean, if you have more trained guardsmen, might make your burden a bit easier as well.
yeah, yeah, no, I think that would be great. Um, I mean, who do we talk to for the money for that though? I mean, technically, you guys are in charge, so
Yeah, I mean, we don't really need money if I could just make the. I mean, for building we don't need the money, but for the training we might have to talk to some like for teachers, unless we enlist you. I mean, pointed you and like the people living here.
we can do what we can. I think Elena might be pretty good at that kind of thing. She's, she's always kind of brought the new volunteers in under her wing.
We,
Um,
we could also talk to Sade for combat training if we wanted. I think she's pretty handy with a sword.
he nods. Yeah, though I do wonder she might injure a few of the new recruits.
I mean, we could ask if she knows anybody. I mean,
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah.
And she sure should know a few people who can fight well. Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea, Quinton.
Hmm.
Um, no, we'd still need a bit of money to keep things going, and honestly, if only we had half the old guard here, but they all died or disappeared 8 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see what I can do regarding the money situation. I mean, we have talked to some of the more powerful people in town. I mean, we are going to visit the Sith later.
Oh, that that might be good. I mean, they've got a lot of money in the city.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So
they might be able to help sponsor the like the training and of the guards and whatnot.
he nods, but he does rub his chin out as a side of that. Got to be careful though. The rich, if they, you know, like to get money and give them to the guards, sometimes they like treating the guards like their own private army.
Yeah, I mean, if that ever happens, they think they will be aware that divine punishment might ensue. But
Divine. He takes a moment and laughs like, it's is that what it is now? Divine.
I mean, I guess it is. People are
And
calling us gods, so we might as well call it what it is.
he kind of strokes his chin, like, I remember when you spilt your entire bowl of soup all over yourself
Yes.
and ran out of the room crying. And this was like many years ago, kind of thing.
Oh
Like
yeah,
when you were in the orphanage as kids, kind of thing. It's like but it's like it's really weird to think of my little brother as divine. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, most of the people in the city do.
That he nods like, well, I can't deny it. I mean, look, and he like strokes the head of Inkwell like very firm. Like he seems to be really quite adoring of this animal.
Mm.
And it's like, look, you can do wondrous things. And if you're a god, if even people only call you a god,
Mm.
I'm behind you, all the way.
That's good to know.
You see that as he kind of rubs his hair back and stretches back into his seat, he's got the same inky mark on his own forehead that he left on the head of Inkwell. Like it seems to be almost shifting as you look at it.
Mm.
These smear of ink across his forehead in the shape of your own divinity.
Hmm.
And he's just like, we're going to do some good things out there, aren't we?
Yeah, I believe so. Then I chuck him like a handkerchief and points to his forehead.
Uh, he looks at his fingers. Like, oh, is it? He takes the handkerchief and wipes at it. But as you see him wiping, it doesn't seem to be going off his forehead and onto the cloth. It's anything. It seems to be fading into his skin.
Mm.
And after a bit of wiping, it is gone. but you don't see it on. Like he looks down at the cloth, like nothing there.
Weird.
What? What's weird?
I mean, I was just pretty sure I saw some ink, but I mean, I might have seen wrong.
So he gives a small shrug and like, well, you've not exactly slept in a while. A few years, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's healthy, man.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what's healthy anymore.
He pauses and nods like, you know, I don't blame you. It's been a strange time.
It has. But I mean, if we are to expand the guard, what do you say that we upgrade this? I don't want to call it like this little house here into something a bit more grand.
I mean, I think that'd be great. If we're going to get bigger, we need bigger places.
Yeah.
We're going to need somewhere to train them as well. Training yards, weapon storage.
Yeah, I'll build an academy somewhere in town on one of the empty lots or one of the rundown places that are left or been left behind.
Jeez, it's such a weird thing to think that you just. I saw it, when you made the walls spring up around the church. I saw that.
I mean, you get to see it again when I upgrade the house.
Oh, I should get everyone else out of here then, and careful of your pigeons.
Yeah, I think we better take everybody out. Just like help him, get everybody out the building.
The moment just like everyone out, Senna like grabs some toys, just like I am not leaving these behind kind of moment.
Yes,
and
totally understandable.
You see that one of them is that she's holding. She's trying to hide from you, but she's a small girl and is having some difficulty.
I mean, can I see what it is?
Yes. Like, if you pay attention to it, it looks like either she or someone else that, in the place has been making a small stuffed version of you.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
Like, in your night god form.
Yes.
With the full, like, the mask and the, and the hood and everything, and it's even though it's got a mask on, they've stitched like a little smile onto the front.
Yeah. I'll notice it and then like ignore it, so to say, so I won't like bring attention to it or anything.
Like as you're kind of outside and turning to get started, Senna does pause and like tugs at your arm a little bit.
Look down and like go down on a knee and just like, what's up, Senna?
She's kind of obviously a bit embarrassed, a little bit red in the face, and then she kind of holds out the doll, and she's like, "Calon helped me make it. It's for you."
I pick it up and just like, thank you very much, and I give her like, put my hand on her head.
You feel that there's something strange about the doll.
Like anything in particular, or
just it didn't seem to be strange when you were looking at it, but the moment that you touched it and like stroked her head, it seemed that there was a little spark that awoke like in the doll, and you do remember a little bit of one of the things that Easy kind of rambled on about a while ago in the party. It was the it's creation of small miracles. Basically, the idea that through not just dominion but through actions, that certain things can come to happen. Certain as almost like the power of gods will coalesce, usually in items around them. Like it's not usually as strong as Dominion. Dominion yeah, it's a lot more guidance. But these are like small little bonuses, shall we say?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, you feel that there's something in the doll.
Hmm. Interesting. I can't tell what it is, like if it's anything in particular or.
If you take a moment to pause and study it,
I
um,
mean, I think I will quote unquote admire it for a bit.
yeah, yeah. So you like as you're moving it around, it feels both cloth-like but also very sturdy.
Hmm.
As you're touching it, and as you kind of go to like move the doll's arm, perhaps bend it in a way that's not, really meant to bend on a person. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of you feel a little tug, and the doll seems to pull its own arm out of your grip.
Have you given me a mini Barbary?
I like the concept. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a there is a moment where it seems to like shift and twist a little bit,
Hmm.
as you go along. But yeah, there is just a moment where it kind of shifts and then it is moving, like it is moving around and looking around
Hmm.
in your hand. No one else seems to have noticed this because they're all like talking between themselves, but like the doll is moving in your hand.
Hmm. Like after admiring it for a bit, I just like thank her again and put it into like a pouch on my belt or something for now.
Mm.
And then I just like, so what do you say that we get this house expanded?
Mm.
And basically start like hovering up and start expanding the house.
Okie doke. So you do the what you did before with the like expanding everything and adding new renovations. Is there anything in particular that you'd like to add to
I mean, probably just like make it bigger, make it as I stated before, that have it be like this almost like guild-like building
mm.
with like
And
a desk out front for people when they come and tell you about the problems,
mm.
and make like if they have lost some items or want to report something.
and I think
Basically, just like what I described before.
yeah, and I think that actually became one of the grander parts of, well, certainly the area that you're in, but the grander parts of the entire city, I believe, because of the added like a little external garden and you know
Yeah, made it like real fancy.
mm. So yeah, no, you've built yourself a guild house.
Yeah.
Um, was there anything you wanted to do after that? Because I believe just after that you started getting yelled at to come to Easy's place.
Yeah, effectively.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I'll do anything else. I mean, as I'm going to Ishi's place, I might be like looking for a place to build the academy.
Mm. Um, yeah, after a little bit of searching, you can see that Easy's place is down here in number 6, by the way.
Yeah, down Atlantic.
Yeah, down the. So you do notice that there's some, like, the outer areas, which are a bit more open. But there is a rather large uh, area here that's open,
Yeah,
and here. And these seem to have previously been church operated. I'm guessing you went by Sky, didn't you? Yeah, because you
yeah,
flew. So these used to be church operated businesses, and the larger areas were owned by the church.
mm,
And you can tell this because just the city knowledge that you have.
yeah,
And yeah, so you know that these are most likely entirely abandoned.
mm,
And there's, and it's like this big place here is abandoned because that's the place that owned the
yeah.
open
The lot
workshop.
behind.
Yeah, the lot behind, and this place here, like a couple of the buildings surrounding were church owned. So it's like there's actually quite a bit of room that you could play around with here.
Yeah. I mean, where is the guardhouse located actually?
The guardhouse, I always imagined it to be, um, and to basically be up in kind of this area, uh,
Yeah.
like nearer the middle of the city, but not majorly in like a. It's as you can see, it's a bit in a smaller district. But if you want,
Yeah.
you can mark exactly where you want it to be because I mean it's your
I mean,
guardhouse.
I always imagine it being like around number one, so around like New Torchstone
Yeah.
kind of thing as well.
So yeah, let's say that the one just to the right, this big triangle,
Yes.
that's the guardhouse.
Okay. Because then I'll pick the one here most likely for the academy, as it is closer to the guardhouse.
It is also slightly more open there.
Yeah.
The area that you've picked is in a it's a nice kind of district. Not too many like the places down here that are more like craftsmen, but this seemed to be a bit more of buying and selling books and more leisure items for the rich folk.
Mm.
So this is seems to have been some kind of finery or embroidery store, kind of that one, which has been abandoned, and it's very strange that the church would really own one of those. So,
I mean, they gotta get their ropes made somewhere.
True. But yeah, you'll.
That's most likely the lot that I will take and recreate into like an academy.
You could do that after the tea time if you want, as like while the others are getting doing their anointments and stuff like that. Since it's going to be quite late at night at that point, it's a good place, good time, I suppose, to do some. Because it's not even loud. You're building like maybe the shifting
it's
of
just
earth.
being manifested, basically.
Yeah, like maybe the shifting of earth, but that's about it. So I'm going to give you. I probably should have done this a while ago, but I am a dumb. What
are you gonna give me?
And that's a folder. And then there.
Meantime, I will find
Quinton.
Changing the world.
Quinton. There. That should be something that you can access.
The three port guard resources.
So anything that the guards have from blessings from you to stuff that you've built from them, if you make some edits in there, so you can work on that, and then over time I might make a few bonuses as well of stuff that they have from the general development of power and or respect that they have.
Neat.
So technically, your guild is your church is actually part of the guard as well, isn't it? But this is like a more overviewing what you've got in the city, because you're giving the guards quite a few and quite a lot of lovely bonuses.
Yeah.
So yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to do, or you?
I mean, the only thing I want to do is just how much dominion would it be to quote unquote erect an institution.
It would be plausible, and it would be village size, because it's an institution for this place, isn't it?
But isn't it city size?
I suppose, city size would probably be. So it's entirely plausible, and it would be city size because it would affect the whole city.
Yeah, so that's 2 dominion.
Yeah. Barely a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's the one to add? I lost my add projects button. Is it so far down on my?
Yeah, I think it's
Can't see it.
right at the bottom.
Just where I can't reach it. What if I hit this button and open it in a new window? There we go.
There we go.
And it will be difficulty possible, scope city. And I'm assuming there is no resistance.
No resistance at all.
Cool. There we go. Then I put 2 dominion to that.
Yep.
Include falconeering. There we go. Falconeer. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically train people to use like falcons and whatnot to just help track people if they run away.
I mean, it's a thing of, you know, it's even though it's slightly fantastical, plenty of people have used falcons for hunting, and it's like, you know, I don't want to make it, oh, it's implausible, because it's like, no, like, man, if you can have the general soldier and a horse, you can have them learn how to look after a falcon.
I mean, and attack falcons are also a thing, so just have it, just like dive down and try to scratch people.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, all good.
The church is done looking into. There we go. Great. Then I don't think I have anything else I want to look into for now.
Okie doke. Then say goodbye and I'll stop the recording.
Goodbye.